He gets a pass all day
He's
long.
a dandy
yeah.
guy. He's a dandy ball player. And he's a great guy.
Yeah, so
He really is.
I'm glad you brought his name up, Mark. I really am. But he's a different breed altogether. I don't want to talk to you as much.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if a guy like Mike Trout does a lot of his business in the form of press conferences. Get them all in here. Let me go back to the batting cage.
Yeah.
That's different.
I think to that though, Scott, I think his PR comes the way that he just handles. I mean, he's never annoyed with questions, and I think the PR that works in his favor. Obviously, he's the best player in baseball, and Jeter, when he won the MVP in Jeter's final All-Star game, we kind of saw a handing off of the torch of the face of baseball. Mike Trout is the face of baseball, but his positive PR comes via the way that he is with children. He is what Cal Ripken Jr. was, where he signed every autograph when he broke Lou Gehrig's record running around the stands. That's
Right.
Mike Trout. That's how Mike Trout's going to be remembered, as one of the 3 greatest players of all time and one of the best players when it comes to dealing with children. He is the consummate professional in that regard.
Yeah, there ain't anybody going to give you a bad word about Mike Trout, where the other clowns I just talked about, Bonds and Clemens.
The other best one that I've ever seen was Stan Musial.
Oh,
Really?
yeah. Mr. Cardinal. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
And Bonds, like you were saying, Scott. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Mark. We're fine.
But Musial, I was around Stan just long enough, and just to see, man, he's a pretty amazing guy, and I remember somebody telling me, a friend of mine that was up in the box with in San Diego with who owned the Ray Kroc was up there.
Kroc.
And Jerry Calder, my friend from the Boot Hill, was up there, and he and Stan were playing golf out there on the West Coast. And Stan went back there for 9 innings and signed at the door with little kids coming up in the press box. For 9 innings, he didn't watch any ball game. He just signed autographs.
That's incredible.
That's
I
amazing.
love that story.
Yeah, that is incredible. And nowadays, again, this will be for another conversation, but these guys didn't have to deal with social media, which is a totally different animal. But, all in all, it's just, like I told you, Mark, I don't like social media. I do what I have to do to make sure that we promote what we do. But, I think a lot of what's so neat about this program tonight is we've been able to talk about the different characters and, pay tribute to the Marvin Miller, Ted Simmons, Derek Jeter, and Larry Walker. And the common denominator that you have with Miller, Simmons, and Larry Walker's are long overdue. Derek Jeter, you know what? He'll check his ego at the door. Well, one shy, big deal. At least Mariano Rivera still gets it. But he's still going in there anyways. And, but I still think it's a bunch of baloney anyhow. But I tell you what, though, I don't think Clemens and Bonds will get in after the next 2 years if they can't make a sizable enough, and they can do a little bit of politicking, because that's what they're going to need. Because just a couple % increase this year doesn't make me feel pretty good about it. And the writers, I'm sure you've dealt with a lot of them, that they can hold grudges, man, don't they? If they don't like you, and especially as a new wave.
That's right.
Yeah,
I've seen that. Not so much with me, but I've seen it with other players. And the players, the players always shouldn't be that way. But that's their makeup, and the player, maybe wasn't brought up right. Who knows? I'm just talking.
Right.
But that's just the way they are. And most players are pretty selfish. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Most ball players. Everybody will ask me, well, what kind of ball player do you want? Do you want a nice guy? And I don't want a nice guy. I want a real asshole. I'd rather have a guy like that than I would a nice guy. Nice guys, you have to try to bring him up, and you never will.
Mm-hmm.
That guy that's out there that's overshooting his bounds, you can put a little reins on him, but let him play. He'll tear somebody up.
Right. Yeah.
No doubt about it.
So, any final thoughts, Mark, about today? I think it's a day that baseball undoubtedly has to be celebrated, knowing that now we know the 4 people that will be a part of Cooperstown's Hall. And, I've been to Cooperstown a couple times. All I know is I went there a couple times and got a lot of my money. I was buying memorabilia up the rear end here. I got a lot of money invested in Hydrostone statues, and to me, I think it's just sacred ground anyhow. But what are your thoughts about today being a celebration of the game in light of the fact that the last program we were on, we were talking about sign stealing? This is refreshing, isn't it?
Yes, very much so, because, July 26th of this year, Cooperstown will induct these 4, men into the Baseball Hall of Fame. And I was there 2 years ago to talk about my book, and I thought it's a quaint town, wonderful. Everybody needs to go there.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you don't know anything about baseball, you need to go there because it's history, and that's just the way it is. There's just so many quality things there that you're going to see that is Americana to the highest and to the fullest, and it speaks volumes to step into that town, and it's almost like stepping on a baseball field. You can smell it, you can see it, you got the green grass, you got the air, the whole 9 yards. There's an awful lot to absorb and soak in right there.
Well, you got Lake Otsego, which it doesn't hurt either. I was there around the 4th of July, and I'll tell you, it's just surreal. So do you find yourself going to Cooperstown to promote books, events, and whatnot? How frequent do you get there?
Well, I got my 3rd book, actually almost finished here, and hopefully I can get it out this spring. But, the following year, maybe Bruce Markinson will invite me back to, speak, and I'll go back again, and, I'll make a trip out of it and speak about my book. And, I had a really good time. I was lucky because I got to pick. He said, I'm going to let you pick and see which one you want. I said, well, I want inductee weekend. Well, I was there on a Wednesday to speak, but the weekend actually started, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, pretty much. The Saturday, Sunday being the big days.
Mm-hmm.
But you could see all the people that were there. It was, crystal clear weather. It could be raining, obviously, up there, but it was a beautiful, beautiful weather. And I really liked it. Enjoyed it quite a bit. You got to go into the hall and, go into an auditorium and speak.
Yeah, I would think Cooperstown should be a great opportunity for you all day long, Mark, especially with the things that you have to offer. And, hey, there's nothing wrong with being able to utilize Cooperstown as an opportunity since you have a pretty good history with the game in the first place. So, so now that we have the opportunity as we close down the broadcast, why don't you go ahead and
plug your book.
Your book and whatever else you want to talk about it here at the very end, Mark. You deserve it. Thanks for being on.
Well, real quick, I've got a couple books out. I've got On the Eighth Day, God Made Baseball. The other one was, Country Boy, Conveniently Well, because obviously I'm a redneck from southeast Missouri, and I have a funny accent sometimes. The other thing is the books are funny, they're humorous. Unfortunately, they're all true stories. I did blow up a truck with dynamite when I was 15. My dad was a little bit pissed off. And I knocked down an older lady in Cleveland during a game that had 60,000 people. We thought we were going to play Alamo down there in the bullpen. And they found out the safest place for me, or Whitey did, was on the mound pitching. So that's just a little bit about the first book. But, no, you can get them on Amazon, and you can go either my name, Mark Littell, if you can spell Littell, Littell. It's Littell, it's swell, kind of thing. And then the other factor is I've got a 3rd book coming out, hopefully this spring. It's called What's Up, Ramrod, with a question mark. And it's pretty fun. It's very humorous, I'm sure. And they're all true stories. It starts in Australia. I've been to Cuba, and then I coached 18 years, and that's what it's about, a lot of the coaching. And there's some fun stuff in that kind of thing when you go on between the lines and you're taking these players under your wings. And then, of course, the Nutty Buddy. And I won't take a shot for you tonight, but you never know. Anyway.
All right, well,
there you go.
No, there you go. So, just, on the South Florida Tribune Broadcasting Network, Mark Littell is one of our regular analysts, and what I love about Mark being on the program is we have a lot of fun, but more importantly, we're not afraid to talk about a lot of nuts and bolts as well. No pun intended for Nutty Buddy. Maybe there was. I don't even know anymore, but whatever. But, at any rate, we always look forward to having Mark on the program, and we look forward to his next stop here on the 108 Stitches Baseball Talk Around the Horn. So, but meanwhile, on behalf of Louis Adioace, my name is Scott Morganroth, and Mark Littell. Want to thank you for joining us tonight, and we'll be back another time for another edition of this program featuring our star hurler, Mark Littell. Mark, thank you very much for being on the show. We appreciate you.
Enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Take care, Mark. Good night.